Put on my fancy shirt. Hey guys, so I do feel like this topic has potential to enter a flame war. So I'm hoping to just have a discussion, an open conversation with you, a viewer, my friends, my followers, all 10 of them. What? But I'm hoping we can keep it respectful, because chances are, no matter what your political belief, you're a good person. Maybe we don't agree politically, but that doesn't make our opinions any less valid or us bad people. So as fact-based as I can do this, and with an emphasis on this is my opinion, I wanted to give you 5 reasons why I am voting for Hillary Clinton. Number 1, her speech in 1995 in Beijing, China, to the UN's World Conference on Women was, let's just say, that took balls, son. 6 years after the very important protests in Tiananmen Square, you know, where this image is from. And if you don't know about that, I highly recommend looking it up because it's a very important piece of world history, not just Chinese history. Hillary Clinton was asked to speak, and instead of giving a very sugar-coated, nice, first lady type speech, she laid out the atrocities that women face throughout the world, including right there in China.
It is a violation of human rights when babies are denied food or drowned or suffocated or their spines broken simply because they are born girls.
That would be like going to your mother-in-law's house and telling her that her lasagna was poison. Assuming your mother-in-law made like poisonous lasagna, because it was true. Not just to insult her. It was something that was beyond just brave. And, in my opinion, it's the kind of brass a leader should be willing to show. And the kind of muscle that a leader should be willing to flex. Of course, links, doobly-doo, you know, so you can see all sorts of things, including the full speech from 1995 and the Wikipedia link to the Tiananmen Square protests. It's worth a read. Reason number 2, college will be affordable again. Student debt makes up the biggest debt in the entire country. Right now, it sits at about $1.3 trillion. And students, most of the time being 18 years old, straight out of high school, face insanely high interest rates. But to make matters worse, no matter how great their credit rating gets, they can never refinance. And if things get really tough, cannot be wiped away by bankruptcy. Hillary's plan will allow refinancing, and it will reduce the amount of money that banks and the government make off of students just trying to get ahead in life. Higher education creates a stronger economy. Facts. Like, I shouldn't even have to post a link to that. It's true. Like, you should just hear that and go, yeah, that makes sense. Because it does. With this plan, an estimated 25 million people in this country will be eligible to refinance their loans, reducing their debt, improving their stature in life, and maybe just overall make them happier. And that's awesome. Number 3, she's not named Cruz or Trump. And sadly, yeah, that is a big deal. So Trump actually hasn't proposed anything that could actually be done. Promising to build a wall and making your neighboring country pay for it is just not gonna happen. And deporting 11 million illegal immigrants is also just not gonna happen. To do that would cost upwards of $600 billion and would take about 20 years to do. It's just not feasible. Cruz's tax plan would add about $10 trillion to the deficit over the next 10 years. On top of that, he has promised to erase Obamacare without replacing it with anything, leaving 15 million people who just got healthcare without any. Again! Did you know that before Obamacare took effect, being a woman was considered a pre-existing condition? If you're gonna promise to take away something, you should at least try and replace it. And Cruz may decide to just shut down the government because he doesn't like something. Again.
I like green eggs and ham.
Come again for Big Fudge?
I do. I like them, Sam I am. And I would eat them in a boat. And I would eat them with a goat. And I will eat them in the rain. And in the dark and on a train. And in a car and in a tree. They are so good, you see. So I will eat them in a box and I will eat them with a fox. And I will eat them in a house and I will eat them with a mouse. I will eat them here or there. Say, I will eat them anywhere.
Rubio, I don't mind as a person, but his tax plan is not good. I'm talking about that a little bit later. But he's missed more votes than anyone else in the Senate and has pushed through zero legislation. I just don't think he has the experience necessary or the ideas necessary to put him in a higher office. Reason 4, Benghazi and the emails. Now let's start with this. Benghazi was tragic. American lives were lost and mistakes were made, but it was not Hillary's fault. And there's nothing that she could have done about it. If you don't believe me, ask the Republican-led Senate committee that investigated the matter. All 8 of them. 8! They spent more time investigating Benghazi than they did 9/11. That's a true statement. From my point of view, Hillary's willingness to face these questions and these hearings head on without really wavering or bitching about it really shows her character. She is strong and unwavering. It is hard to argue against that. Reason 5, her budget would actually work. One of the biggest threats to our national security is our debt. It also plays a direct role in our country's economic growth, its educational promises, and the infrastructure of the entire nation. Because if you owe $19 trillion to various countries around the world, it's hard to pay for stupid things like bridges and kindergarten. The deficit is how much the government owes versus how much it takes in. Since Obama has taken office, the deficit has dropped significantly, about 71%. Thanks, Obama! But we can't start paying off the debt until the deficit is reduced to 0, and ideally there's a surplus. But we have to be realistic about it. The deficit cannot be reduced and balanced for another decade. The national debt will go up, and it's gonna take work and time. There is no magic wand to fix it. But reducing taxes on the super wealthy and giving me an extra $50 a year is not the answer. According to the math from the Nonpartisan Tax Policy Center, it found that Trump's tax plan would add about $9.5 trillion to the deficit, Cruz's would add about $8.6 trillion, and Marco Rubio's would add no less than $6.8 trillion to the deficit over the course of a decade. Look, neat little graphic. It has bars, so it's easy to read. And none of these guys have answered how they would handle that. Kasich, as far as I can find, is the only GOP candidate who has even mentioned balancing a budget. Though I can't find an in-depth analysis of his plan, basic tax structure looks similar to his counterpart, because the top rate would go down from about 39% to 28%. Hillary and Bernie, to his credit, have both proposed reasonable tax plans that are both doable and would help in reducing the deficit. While Bernie's is a bit more extreme, Hillary seems a bit more reasonable and balanced. Remember, links, doobly-doo. You just click the see more section, and then there's a lot. I made a list, and you can click the link, and you don't have to take my word for it. Some random dude on the YouTubes. You can look and read for yourself. This is true. This is all true. I did my research. Hillary's plan would add about $1 trillion to the government in the first year and $2 trillion the following. Her plan is being criticized because everyone's taxes would go up a little bit, including the bottom 20% of earners. Their taxes would go up by $4 a year. That is an extra 25 cents a month. If you're doing well in the upper middle class, making between $80,000 and $142,000, your taxes will go up by $44 a year. That's less than half the price of Amazon Prime. You'll probably get more for it too. I will pay an extra $44 if that means that college will be affordable again. And 15 million people can keep their health insurance. Note, I don't make even close to $80,000 a year, so my taxes would go up about $25 a year. Darn. In conclusion, I just want to say I don't believe that Hillary Clinton is a perfect human being, nor do I think she is a perfect candidate. I do, however, do my homework, and I do believe she is the best person for the job because of these reasons and many others. So of course, leave a comment. Let me know what you think and try to be respectful. Thanks for watching, and enter tagline here. The government, $19 trillion in debt, needs to be bringing in more money than it is giving out. That's how basic economics work. If I have to do it at home, the government should have to do it too. Terry, who are you voting for? Please don't flame me. I have a corgi to look after. He's so vulnerable. He needs me. He needs me so bad. Terry. 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 Tell them that you need me. You know? Alright, whatever.